and welcome back to another episode of Combat X with Alan Dawson on Swerve Combat. We're on the Roku channel, Fubo, Sling, Prime Video, and if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe because it will help the channel grow a ton and help us bring in guests like my next one. He is, for me, the most important heavyweight boxer of the last 25 years. He's got a magnetic personality, capable of generating some of the biggest events and spectacles of the 21st century. This is, of course, the Olympic bronze medalist, the former WBC champion, Dr. Sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Deontay Wilder. Welcome to the show, champ.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. How you been?
Mate, I've been good. It's been a while since you and I have spoken. You know, we've spoken before your events, during your events. It means everything to reconnect with you again as you return to the ring on June 27th in Wichita. I mean, you've come back from back-to-back losses before and got a first-round knockout. That was when you iced Robert Helenius in a single round. Recently, you lost to Zhilei Zhang and Joseph Parker. So are we going to see another brutal first-round knockout win in your comeback?
You know what? We come to have a good time, and we come to have some fun. You know, I had to take a wellness check, you know, and had to get a sports psychologist involved, and I had a lot of things going on with me, a lot of things that I felt that I could handle myself. You know what I mean? I felt like I could get everything together in what was going on in my head and in my space that was around me to cause certain problems of activity that happens in my life. You know, certain things you can't control. I've always been told only put energy in the things you can control, and the things you can't control, don't put no energy towards. And it's a lot of things that happened in my life that I had no control over, but I had to weather the storm. I had to get my surfboard and surf the wave. And it was a heavy tide, you know, but I'm here. I'm smiling. I feel free as ever, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm just ready to go. You know, I had to come to a conclusion that it was something that was going on with me. And when I came to that conclusion, I had to go seek help immediately. You know, sometimes they say the first step is to admit, you know, something's going on. And when you can do that, then now you can go seek certain things, options of help and things out there, and I did, man. I didn't waste no time. You know, I may write a book about it later. Definitely documentary will be made and stuff like that. But the king have returned, man, and I'm looking forward to displaying, you know, greatness like once before, but even better now. You know, so much time has passed. So much knowledge has been gained, and I always apply knowledge to life to become wise, because that's the only way you become wise, if you apply knowledge to life. Age alone just not gonna do it, my friend. And over the years, it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey, a beautiful process, and here I am, the product of that, and I'm looking forward to getting back in that ring.
How do you feel like, you know, you said about the wellness check and the sports psychologist. How recently did you bring in that sports psychologist, and how do you think it's benefiting, you know, you at 39 years old? You know, you've been in the ring so many times, but, you know, this is a new addition to your camp. You know, in boxing, you know, we know you have a trainer, manager, promoter. You know, not every athlete has the sports psychologist. How do you feel that that's benefited you at this stage in your career?
I mean, it has benefited me tremendously, especially during the time of events that was occurring in my life. You know, after the Zane fight, I immediately went and got seek help for it, because that's when I realized what was going on. Immediately after, I ended up sharing my my findings with Shelly, and he immediately like, I knew it. I mean, he said something as well, but not really understanding what was going on with me. But, you know, we shared a lot of things. I got my team together. I huddled around. And I said, I'm gonna have to check out for a little minute. I gotta get myself back together because this is not me. And I don't want to get back in the ring if I can't display Deontay Wilder, who everyone knows to be the bronze bomber, the knockout king. You know, the one hit quitter. You know, the Mr. Dr. Sleep. You know, if I can't do that and display it, then it's no need of me being in the ring. You know, the love will have to, you know, take a seat. But before I did that, I had to go and make sure that I tried everything. You know, they said dot your I's and cross your T's. So that's what I had to do in real life to get myself back together, to get the help that I need, because the things that happened to me, betrayal is a motherfucker. I tell you that right now. You know, and I've been dealing with a lot of betrayal for the past 4 or 5 years. And, you know, I say betrayal 10 times worse than a heartbreak, and it is. It's a feeling that you want to feel in your life, but just imagine over and over and over and over again. When people feel like there's no more left in you, it's like you a squeezed orange and you've been squeezed all the way out. When they feel like you're empty and then that's the go, then, you know, true colors show.
You're saying about, like, you know, betrayal being greater than heartbreak. Is your heart mended now over those 5 years? You know, how are you how are you mentally? I know, like, a few years ago you mentioned you took ayahuasca, and you know, you said you were reborn and it was one of the best experiences of your life. But then, yeah, you know, with the losses, it sounded like, you know, it might have diluted what took you to, you know, the heavyweight championship, all these things that have been going on in your life. You know, where are you mentally right now? What's been the biggest change to, you know, at 39 years old, be able to pull the trigger again? Like you say, you're the bronze bomber, and remind everyone, you know, you don't need to remind me, you've given me some of the best nights I've had covering the sport. You know, the trilogy with Fury, I think, is one of the great historic rivalries in all combat sports. And, you know, the amount of people that you've just slumped on the canvas, you know, we know that you've got it in you. So what is it that's changed from, you know, all these things that have been going on in your life, where you can now know that you can pull the trigger on, you know, when you have this fight coming up in June?
Yeah, most of my burdens has been cut loose. You know, the leeches, the people that need to be here is here. The burden has been cut loose from me, and that's how I can explain it, you know. It had nothing to do with ayahuasca or anything else, because when I was going through my phase of ayahuasca, I still had demons around me.
Right.
I still had the devil's helpers around me. They was looking and leaking around. They was still plotting and planning while I was still in the midst of getting myself fixed. You gotta understand that God is real, but also the devil is too.
Yeah.
So when God have a plan, the devil does too. So, you know, the main people that sit and pray on your downfall is the closest people to you. Most likely, it's mostly family and your homegirls and your homeboys and the people that said they truly love you and they'll be there for you and will never hurt you. That'll be the main ones. And then when you get that dagger in your back and your side and in your chest, and then you get that big one that goes into your heart, and then when they turn it over like it's a key lock, they try to kill you. But you survive and you keep going. And your heart do amend it. Your heart do amend. But you never forget. You never forget their faces nor their names, and you never forget the feeling that they left you with, scarred with for eternity. And then they put a little bit of sprinkle of hatred into your heart. And you realize that is a recipe that you needed for a very long time, because you've gotten too soft.
Yeah, that was what I was about to, you know, come to. Like, are you able to generate that kind of hatred in your heart into, you know, bringing back that fire against Terrell Herndon?
Definitely, most definitely. You know, I need that hatred back in my heart. A lot of people have they spiel about, you know, not having hate, don't hate, this and this. I always tell people I got my own relationship with God. You better get you one. Don't come over here. Don't come over here telling me what I need and not need to be doing. I'm a very successful man. Yeah. You know, children's taken care of. I have 7. I'm looking to have 7 more. If it was up to me, I have 50. So don't come over here. Don't come over here with your 2% and your negative energy. I needed what I needed. And, you know, come that night of the fight, it's gonna be only the true, you know, display of what I've been saying. You know, a lot of times before then, I just been trying to motivate myself. I've been trying to hype myself up. I've been trying to put something back in that seemed like it was low and it was empty. I never thought in a million years that I would lose my confidence. But because of things that was going on outside the ring, as well as inside of the ring too, because inside the business is not gentle either. It's it's an evil of a business, but it's a business that will change your life if you know how to maneuver around it. You understand me? You can't trust everybody that looks you in your face and hug you and say they love you. You can't believe everybody that say they got your back. You can't sit beside everybody that views the same views that you see or whatever. They can manipulate you. There's a lot of backstabbers around, and I've dealt with a lot of them, not only inside of the business, but on the outside. But dealing with shit inside of the business is something that you can't avoid because of how this business is set up. This is one of the most difficult business around because it has no structure. And when you have a business that has no structure, then it's gonna be a lot of things happening, a lot of corruption, a lot of things to go on, you know. But I'm here to tell my story. They tried to kill me, but my heart they could not measure. And I'm continuing to carry on, even at 39. I feel great, you know. As we know, heavyweights, we can go a little bit longer. You know what I mean? We're bigger guys, we can take more. And we tend to season a little bit later on in our career. And that's how I feel, man. I feel like a seasoned veteran. Yeah. I feel like everything just, when I go to training or shadow boxing, everything just snaps. I feel like, you know how one of those fighters that been fighting ever since they 5 years old? And it just, at this point in time, it's like everything just clicks so much because I'm so used to it. And I'm familiar with everything. It's a different feel. But most of all, no matter how your body may feel, your mind has to be right, mentally, physically, emotionally. If the mind is not together, the heart can't pump. And if the heart ain't pumping, then you don't have no faith in your belief or no type of courage within yourself. You'll be like me, just trying to milk yourself. You're trying to make yourself into believing something that you don't even believe. But hoping that in camp, or act of service, or affirmation of words from others, or even looking at yourself inside the mirror, good try to convince you and hope you get it together before the night of that fight. And if you don't, that's you to do what you got to do off of will itself. Many times I had to fight off my own free will, being outweighed 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60 pounds, but I love it. I love the challenge of it. So when they speak on my name, when I do officially hang it up, or if I pass away, when they speak on my name, they can't do nothing but speak of great things of what a warrior, a true warrior that Deontay Wilder was. But the journey continues, baby. So this is the return. This is not the comeback. I didn't retire, nor did I announce it. But this is my return, baby.
I'm glad to see you back as well. I think American boxing needs you back as well. You know, I feel like there's been a bit of we had a great year in 2023, I think, for the sport in America. But, with you coming back, I think you're going to, drive huge impetus into the sport in the United States. How much do you know about Terrell? Have you seen him around the game? I know you're both kind of, from, the South. He's from San Antonio. Have you seen any of his movements? And what do you make of him, coming up against this guy, having been in the ring with, Joseph Parker, Tyson Fury, and Luis Ortiz, Bermane Stiverne? Is the motivation against Terrell, showing what you've overcome these last few years and showing that you've still got it?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm looking forward to showing, discipline on Terrell. I think Terrell's a great guy. I met him way back years ago, maybe, and he predicted that he would fight me one day. And, I always say, speaking, believing, receiving, it shall be yours. So he spoke it into existence. And 6 years later, we're about to fight each other. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's amazing. I think what a story to tell when you get older, to tell your grandkids and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to coming back and unfortunately, Terrell has to be the one that I display my return upon. I can say what I want. But like I said, the truth everything gonna reveal itself inside the ring, and I'm looking forward to doing that. This is not me convincing myself or trying to build confidence within the time frame that I have to do so before the fight actually happens. This is me coming from my whole heart, how I feel for sure. You know, for me, one of the most refreshing things has been for me is being able to tell the people, tell myself the truth. You know, I don't fall short of the truth. Everything that I've said in my career, everything that I've said in boxing has been the truth. I have many proofs of many things that I've said to be true, trust me. A lot of people don't want me to come out with a certain truth or certain things because it would be exposing them, but I have the truth. Understand me. And everything I've said, I always say, what I look like to have to lie to anyone when I risk my life for others' entertainment. I risk my life to do what I gotta do. Why would I dare to lie to anyone about anything? If anything, you appreciate me in the end because the truth always is come out, whether you're alive or whether you're dead. And I'd rather display my truth right now. I tell people all the time, you know, when I tell my truth, people use it as an excuse. And if you comprehend what I'm saying and you think it's an excuse, if my truth is your excuse, then may God be with you. I'm free. They said the truth will set you free. Yeah. So I'm telling my truth and I'm free. Every night I go to bed, I go to bed beautifully.
But Deontay, it's one of the things I've always liked about you. You wear your heart on your sleeve, and we know, yeah, you are genuine, and yeah, you have, like you say, you're a warrior. And to me, you've been the most important heavyweight in the US for the last 25 years. For you, going back through boxing history, though, who would you have on your Mount Rushmore of, you know, heavyweight boxers? Who do you think are the 4 most important heavyweights that our sport has ever had?
Man, it's a lot of names you can name, you know. It's you know, it goes on and on and on with the same names and stuff like that. You know, I'm always put my idol in there and different things with the Alis and stuff, but you know, it's...
Like, I've got a name that I think you would like. Jack Johnson. Would you have him on that Mount Rushmore?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I have all them, Joe Louis, all those guys, you know. Especially all the Alabamians that they came up. Vander Holyfield, we can't forget him. A great. I don't think he get enough recognition of what he done in his career and in the era, you know. So it's so many great names and stuff, you know. I just thank God for being able to place in history and then be able to do this dangerous business and do it on the elite level. You know, that's the thrill of it, to be able to do it at an elite level.
The reason I mentioned Jack Johnson, it's been a few years ago, though, since this, but I don't think I ever spoke about it. But, you know, you were in the White House when Donald Trump pardoned Jack Johnson. You were with, you know, Johnson's family. You know, how important, you know, but even Trump said at the time that he called it was a racially motivated injustice, what happened to him, you know, over 100 years ago. But that's still really recent history. How important was it for you to be at that time in the White House with Jack Johnson's family, you know, having that injustice, you know, be kind of removed?
I still think about that to this day, you know, about being a part of that. There was something in history, an act that was done towards a black man for you know, his brilliance and what he was able to do, and his confidence in himself for going up. You know, they had to make a rule of him, and you know, that was wrongfully done. And to pardon that and then to do it with his family, it was a beautiful thing. No matter what the conclusion came behind it or the thought of it, to benefit from it, whatever the situation, it was a beautiful thing to do. It was a great deed to do. Wrong has been corrected into a right. Jack wouldn't be able to, he wouldn't be able to appreciate it as much as his family and stuff like that. But his family is still alive, and I'm sure that they're still talking about it to this day. And you know, it's something that I still think about.
Have you spoken to Donald Trump since then? Because I've seen Trump at UFC shows, and sometimes I think, you know, should we have him at boxing events, the president? You know, how would you feel having Trump at one of your boxing shows, and would you ever be tempted to get him to yell, "Bomb Squad"?
Yeah, I love for Trump to get him, yell "Bomb Squad." He comes to a lot of the events. I like that. I like that, you know, you have a president that get involved in certain activities and sports events and stuff like that, that really, for me, brings out their character and their sense of humor about themselves. that they, sometimes, got a important job to do every day, but I can come down, I can get back and relax sometime and come and support, and enjoy, and I love to get them to say bum squad. I actually got a couple of friends that's pretty close friends with them and stuff, and we'll see what happens.
Deontay, I know you get asked about certain fights all the time. There's one fight we've not seen you in that I still think would be perfect. If you go out and defeat Tyrell Herndon in June, I'm talking, of course, Anthony Joshua. You've always been natural rivals to me. And USA versus UK, I love the angle. I still think you and Anthony would create magic. I think it would make sense in New York as well, where you've got so many fans and where AJ lost to Andy Ruiz. Can we make this fight happen, Deontay? Is that a fight that you'd still want to have?
I mean, all fights are possible. All fights would be possible, and all fights would happen when it makes sense at its appropriate time. Many times of these fights and the names that you discussed, it's supposed to have been happening years ago, but that was one of the things that wasn't in my powers of being able to happen. I tried everything I could. Yeah. A lot of things had happened, a lot of things were said, a lot of lies were stirred up, a lot of manipulation was in the pot as well too. A sprinkle of fear and not wanting to, a lot of little shit, man, was up in that. Like I said, I speak the truth about everything I said, so whatever I said, that's what happened. You know what I mean? And it is what it is, but this is a new time. Time has passed by, and, I'm all about what makes sense. If the fight makes sense, I'm there. I'm still here to be the best in the world, and I'm not shying away from any fights. I'm not, I want to take on all the fights that's gonna get me to the end goal of where I'm trying to go to, or no less. I don't have no time to waste. I enjoy where I am. I enjoy the space I'm in. I enjoy the age that I'm in. It's been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life for myself. 39 years old. I'm looking forward to 40, and during my 40s. My 30s have been amazing to me. Oh my goodness. If I could stay in my 30s the rest of my life, I'll be a happy man. But I will embrace the 40s, and I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm looking forward to being a veteran in boxing. And I knew one day I would get here, and I would love, and I remember saying, I can't wait to get there. When I get there, I'm gonna be a great man. I always imagine myself like Bernard Hopkins, but better. Being able to beat up the younger guys and all that. I look forward to that. That's gonna be very exciting to me to be able to get these young guys in here and give them an educational schooling in the ring, and be able to tell them a little something about life on the outside, and maybe even, critique them or give them advice about the boxing business as well. Because I give my expertise of my opinion of the things I've been through to other fighters as well.
I think, these years are going to be crucial in your career. But speaking of potentially post-fight, post-career in boxing options, is WWE something you'd consider? Giving someone like Logan Paul the Alabama Slammer. I know I've read that you liking the Undertaker. Could we ever see Deontay Wilder transition into WWE?
Hey, that's possible too. I always loved WWE. I mean, who have it? Who didn't love it? Especially as a kid growing up, I remember many fights here. We was WWE superstars, coming down with the elbow slam and the chokehold. And man, I was like, I love The Rock. I was with the Diamond Dallas Page, I was with the Stone Cold Steve Austins, the Undertaker, Ric Flair, going way back, the Four Horsemen. You know what I mean? I had to get my little woo note. See Ric Flair, you know what I mean?
Deontay, last one for me. You've been a man for the people, flying the flag for America. Like I keep saying, you're the most important heavyweight for quite a while that the US has had. You're not going to be fighting forever, though. This could be your last run. When you look at other Americans coming up in the division, are you confident there'll be another world champion from the US in the coming years? What's your assessment of the division, for your fellow Americans?
To be honest, I haven't really looked at the landscape of any area of fighters and stuff. Most of the time when I'm out of boxing, I'm minded. Hey, I wear a lot of hats. I got a lot of other things to do just to sit around and just focus on boxing all the time. You know, although it's a dangerous business and you got to eat, breathe, and sleep it, but it's a time and place for me. I just operate different. I've always been this way. But to answer your question, you know, what goes around comes around all the time. You know what I mean? History definitely repeats itself, and sometimes it can repeat itself in a glorious way, in a more better way and fashion than it did previously. So I do feel that, you know, it will be another U.S. fighter that comes along and take the torch and then carry it on, you know, and do great things. When? That is the problem. Who knows? You know, I mean, it could be shit tomorrow. It can be months. It can be years. Hell, it can be centuries. Who knows? You know, but I think for sure there will be one to develop, maybe 2 or 3.
Deontay, it's been great having you on. I really appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you return to the ring June 27th against Tyrell Herndon at the Charles Koch Arena in Wichita. Make sure you tune in for the return of the Bronze Bomber.